Three, two, one. That post was this certain celebrity who had an issue.
They know that there is a greatly effect sa health standard.
Na I think pinagalitan talaga siya
How?
to make reklamo online about a bad service. Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to MarkeThinkers podcast, the show that brings you everything you need to know about digital marketing. And we are your hosts, Jimar Merino.
Carissa Coles?
And welcome to our show. Hello everyone, it's great to have all of you listening and watching to us on our very first episode of MarkeThinkers podcast. My name is Jumar Merino, but you can just call me Jim, and I am the brand manager and project manager of Emerge, one of the best and the brightest creative agency here in Pampanga. And with me here is one of my bosses, Miss Carissa. Tell us
Hi
about
everyone.
yourself.
Yeah, I am Carissa Coles. I'm the marketing head of Emerge.
It's great
That's
to
it.
have you here, and we are your hosts for this show. Now, this show is all about everything you need to know about digital marketing, from the downloads and to the peaks of social media marketing and the likes. Okay, and for this very first episode, we have a very special topic, and it's very relevant, as you can see. And we're talking about social media crisis, or more specific, how to handle social media crisis if you ever face one. If you are a brand or a social media manager and you encounter this type of problems, you know? So, Miss Carissa, from your point of view, what is a social media crisis?
Well, social media crisis is an event that have a negative effect on a brand's, company's, or individual's reputation.
I also believe that it's a very big event. It greatly impacts the reputation or sometimes the image of the brand.
Yes.
No brand is immune to a social media crisis. Even the biggest companies experience this. And it all starts with one single issue that spreads like a virus, especially in this time of pandemic, you know, especially in social media where more people are active.
There are a lot of eyeballs on social media, and because yun, mas marami nasa social media, mas mabilis kumalat ang isang crisis.
For my first question, why do you think brands and businesses in the Philippines should address a social media crisis?
It is very crucial for a brand or an individual or a company to address a social media crisis. People are expecting the brand or a business to respond on it and see how, of course, they respond.
I agree with that as well. And I do believe that when a company or a brand faces a social media crisis, it requires a special response. You know, and I believe each company or brand should have a special response team. You know, just like when there's a disaster, a real life disaster, you know, merong mga ambulance, mga medic, and sa mga brand or brand management departments, they should have that team as well. And I think one of the most notable na may example natin for this one is the issue with Jollibee and the fried
Yes.
towel. I first encountered it on my timeline, you know, on Facebook, when one of my friends, well, several of my friends have shared about this post about a woman complaining na bumili siya from BGC branch of Jollibee. And then upon going home and then opening the package, doon niya na-realize it's a towel with a breading of the chicken. So it was very shocking to everyone kasi they did not expect it na si Jollibee, that brand, that big brand in the Philippines and in the world, no? Because kung mas mababang type of brand na chicken yan, parang, ay, okay, they make mistakes like that. But they did not expect to have Jollibee make that
Yes.
mistake. After 48 hours yata yon, I saw another post from Jollibee themselves na issuing an apology. So I guess that's good kasi they admitted
Yeah.
that there was a scenario. And the next step they did was to close down the branch in BGC where the fried towel came from. The next thing was they said there was going to be a training for all the employees inside that branch. But I think they will have a pretty tight investigation on how it happened because it really greatly affected the image of Jollibee.
Yeah, props to Jollibee because it was a good move. kagaya nga, very classic yung move nila. Walang something grand or shiny na ginawa sila. Well, number one, good move yun. And pangalawa, sinara yung branch because they know that there is a greatly effect sa health standard ng mismong branch. Ikaw, anong naalala mo after that sinara yung isang branch?
I remember after reading that apology message sa kanila, mga few days after, isa-isa nagsilabasan yung mga naging celebrity endorsers nila showing support to Jollibee. On Instagram, Facebook, on all their social media accounts, I saw their posts expressing their love for Jollibee. And then other people also show their support, like hashtag Jollibee pa rin, hashtag I love you Jollibee. So they still showed their loyalty dun sa brand even though they had one mishap na umabot talaga ng national television, And then, yung pinaka natatandaan ko, it's like the ending of that issue is yung video na nilabas nila, which is generally thanking them for choosing them. Now, and the whole video is all about from childhood to teenagers hanggang sa mga lola-lolo, they still choose Jollibee and they thanks the fans for that. So I guess that was a very great move and that was a very great thing to end that issue. Then meron pang isa which is, I think it's an internal crisis pagdating dun sa brand. Yung ginawa ni Cristiano Ronaldo, the famous footballer. Because there was a press conference and he was, talking to the press. And then suddenly, he moved the 2 bottles of Coca-Cola in front of him and replaced it with water and told the audience to drink water instead. And the funny thing there is, they are sponsored by Coca-Cola. So, as a brand, how would you feel na yung mismong ini-sponsoran mo na person is going against you? And they're not like really advertising your product.
Well, from a business point of view, una, the brand will, masasaktan sila. You'll get hurt, diba? Na you are our endorser and we are expecting you to endorse, and kahit hindi man lang endorse directly or sasabihin ni Cristiano sa audience, at least man lang the exposure of the product is there. And a lot of on social media nag-create siya ng buzz, and even IKEA jumped in doon sa issue na yon. I saw this ad ni IKEA, yung bote ng tubig, ang pangalan nung item is Cristiano. Then there's a price of the item. So sabi ko, ano kaya itong item na to? So nung ngayon you mentioned about it, okay, that's the issue. I think it's a crisis also for sponsors. Yeah. So imagine an endorser and a sponsor.
Yeah, it really greatly affects the relationship between the endorser and the sponsor. So I think it really hurt them na tinanggal dun sa visual nung mismong interview yung bote ng Coca-Cola. But I think they clearly they are very clear with it na because they gave a warning, I think, na once they do it again, they will pay for penalty for going against their contract. Well, I also remember one crisis from last year, a transportation service. Kulay green yung brand niya, everyone knows it na. They had a post of this about a carpool service. When you carpool, like marami kang kasabay doon sa Grab na book mo. Okay, so that post was this certain celebrity who had an issue with flirting with other female celebrities. And they put that image of that person and 3 other women inside that car and said, kahit 3 or 4 kasha pa. And that was really offensive. That's why people took to social media to harass and comment everything on the Facebook post. And then 5 minutes or 10 minutes after, it was deleted and then they issued an apology again. And I was really laughing when I saw that kasi ang bilis nilang binawi. And I felt for that someone who posted that na I think pinagalitan talaga siya.
Wow. Hopefully hindi siya intern.
Hopefully. Malaking record yun sa kanya.
So you will see that not all trend jobs or sikat na issue can be used as a promotion or marketing strategy.
Yeah. Tsaka nagulat ako kasi wala sa personality na yun to post something like that. sa pagkakakilala ko dun sa brand.
Okay.
Kasi buti pa kung si Angkas. Kasi ganun talaga yung brand image niya. But speaking of Angkas, I remember this as well. Hindi naman siya crisis, but as a challenge na na-face nila. Remember that viral video last year where there was an ostrich na nakawala sa isang village tas tumatakbo-takbo. And then in that video, may nahagip sa camera na Angkas rider. So Angkas, mabilis talaga sila mag-isip. And they screen grabbed that video where the Angkas rider was appearing, and then they made a promo called Ostrich 30 and then get 30% or 30 pesos off. And it was really smart of them because it's just a span of within 24 hours and nakagawa na sila ng ganong tactic. So I really admire the marketing team of Angkas. Is there other notable social media crisis that you happen to know this year or past year?
Well, ang binabangan ko talaga si Jollibee because really I was shocked. My sister mentioned to me yung sa BTS. I don't know if it's a social media crisis for a brand. Ito naman yung mga fans daw, syempre nagbash yung mga ARMY, ganyan. Dahil doon, hindi matutuloy yung event ni BTS. So, ang laki ng impact, di ba? Ibig sabihin, BTS has the power na i-cancel yung event. Meron silang power to do that because dahil nga nasira siguro yung reputation nila or medyo nabahid ng konting negative. Doon mo makikita, sometimes may control si brand, di ba? Ganun sila ka-powerful and ganun nila nakikita na, okay, mayroon kaming community that who really loves us. Hindi ko alam kung as a punishment ba to sa mga tao, sa mga loyalists or sa mga nagbabash sa kanila, ba't nila ginawa, kinancel yon.
Yeah.
Ano man kung meron man silang gustong ipahatid sa action nila yon, well, sa kanila na kung ano man yun. Yun lang.
Yeah, I remember that as well nung lumabas yung BTS meal. Talagang nagkaroon ng fandom war. Talagang awayan ng mga fans. And I remember nga na dun sumikat yung derogatory mark nila. And I will not say it kasi baka ibashin ako. But yun nga, nung sumikat yung hashtag na yon on Twitter, on Facebook, yun na, marami na nagka-issue. And then there was an issue then nung lumabas yung BTS meal, a lot of these delivery riders stated that they will take a day off and they will not deliver this BTS meal kung sino man yung mag-order, and they don't care dun sa special request na lukutin yung paper bag or yung packaging masira, yung mga ganong special request, and they don't care about it. So anong nangyari? Nasuspend yung mga riders na yon.
Wow.
And doon nahati na naman yung fandom or the audience of this specific brand. Kasi the other side is saying na it's just a small mistake. Bakit tinanggalan nyo ng trabaho? We're in the middle of pandemic. And then the others naman, they are saying they deserve it. Kasi nga daw, nilait nila yung idols nila. You know? So we have different perceptions talaga pagdating sa social media. And napaka-powerful pag nagsasama-sama yung mga people with the same thoughts.
And that's the power of social media. And,
yes.
Having really a large group, followers, community, people who really rally sa brand.
Well, other brands are taking advantage of the social media crisis minsan, no? If it happens to be their competitors, can be a marketing strategy for them. What is your take about yung mga brands na nagtitake advantage when their competitor is having a social media crisis?
Well, for me, hindi siya sa akin something unique because in the other parts of the world, brands are already doing that. I remember Burger King, di ba? They are also supporting their competitor. So nung may mga ganun na lumabas na competitors, it's not unique to me. But maybe sa ibang tao, okay, natutuwa sila na parang sinusuportahan din sila. Maybe if you are a big brand, maybe you can do that because people will listen to you. If you are a small brand and you have few followers, hindi siya magiging malaking impact yung effort na yun. But it's a good move din, effort din sa competitor if they will do that. But dun sa Jollibee, may mga competitors, even mga small business owners, may mga ganun sila na mga posts. Naki-jive sila, naki-trend sila doon sa nangyari.
Yeah, speaking of that, Jollibee again, naalala ko na naman. Kasi ang daming trolls talaga sa social media. Yung mag-i-edit talaga ng mga materials para lang mag-viral sila. And I remember seeing this ad involving McDonald's. And then may words doon, something like, we do not fry towels or something like that. And nag-viral yung picture na yon. And alam mo yun, other people kasi are so gullible, they thought it was real. So nagko-comment yan sila dun sa parang real na page ng McDonald's na, why are you, parang dinidikdik nyo pa kay Jollibee yung pagkakamali niya, bakit hinuhukayan nyo pa siya, yung ganon. So, McDonald's issued na naman na this post did not come to us and it's not from us. It does not represent the company and all. And they said that they support the brand or they support Jollibee. So you see, yun nga yung power ng people sa social media. They can manipulate everything. So nakakatakot din minsan for the brands.
Yes. Kaya dapat ang brand, they are always there listening to social media because you don't know the people, your loyal followers, or maybe the people who are against your brand will create something about your brand. So yun, yung nangyari kay McDonald's, buti na lang, nakikinig sila and they issued a statement. Yung pinaka-end nila is they support.
And going back to my statement earlier, do you also agree na a brand should have a special response team if ever they face a social media crisis?
Yes,
And
actually.
sino-sino dapat yung laman ng team na yun?
Sa mga nababasa ko, when they handle social media crisis, sabi nila, dapat yung blueprint or yung framework na sinusundan nyo is gawa na before pa mangyari yung crisis. It's not good to manage a crisis if you're in the middle of one.
Yeah.
So it should be beforehand of a crisis, ready ka as a brand.
Anticipated mo na merong mangyayari.
Na.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially if you are a big brand or if you're a small business and especially you are in the food industry, madalas yan dahil people are really, kapag sa food, ang bilis nila mag-snap ng photo or ng feedback sa social media. And if you're not listening to it, di ba? Magigising ka na lang after a 24 hours, people are talking about your brand na. So to answer your question, number one, again, they need to have that in place. Pangalawa is, kailangan meron silang someone, a community manager.
Yeah.
Yun, someone who monitors whatever is happening around your brand. That person can use different tools to monitor what's happening around your brand, like Google Alerts, Google Trends.
Kung kasi yung tenga ng company sa nangyayari.
Tenga. A community manager. And yun, may counterpart siya na creative person who can create the material, no? And also, before mag-issue ng something na action, or any material, kailangan syempre may approval. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-post without the approval of the head. Mas maganda kung mas maraming titingin kasi iba-iba yung perception ng tao. Iba yung pagkakaintindi ko, iba yung pagkakaintindi niya. So, mas maganda kung mas maraming titingin, mas maraming magde-decide. And make sure na mabilis yung pag-respond. Nakaplano. Ano yung mga susunod? So, yung kagaya na ginawa na Jollibee, they issued a public apology, they closed down the branch, then hindi na sila nag-create ng kung ano-ano pang maraming mga postings, hinayaan na nila, maybe siguro internally, they talk to endorsers, we don't know, maybe like, okay, help us reinstate our reputation. So, then yung mga endorsers na yung gumawa ng way, then they close the post, the issue with the video, the heartwarming video. So sometimes hindi kailangan ng grand or complicated way to respond on a crisis. Kailangan ma-feel lang ng mga tao na authentic talaga yung pag-a-address mo ng crisis.
Yeah. Kasi at the end of the day, you're connecting to your audience, real people. And kailangan mo iparamdam sa kanila na nagsisisi ka, na you're admitting your mistake. You know, na kahit large brand ka, you don't have to take the high horse or the high road at maging ma-pride. Just admit it and then, you know, that's the way to do it. Kasi minsan, this social media crisis starts from dissatisfied customers, mga poorly or insensitive posts na biglang lumalabas, mga product posts na may mga sira, mga ganun. Basta usual na reklamo ng mga people online. And then pag, ayun, ginagatungan, alam mo yung ginagatungan ng mga tao, like, nagsasabi pa sila, oo, tama yan, bakit yung service nila, mga ganun. Doon lumalaki yung issue kapag marami na talaga nag-a-agree. And feeling ko doon gumagalaw yung brands kapag marami nang nag-a-agree dun sa statements nila. I think one of the takeaways is to carefully manage what's being said about your brand or your company.
Can you expound that? What do you mean by that?
Here on our agency, di ba, parang we have a specific person every day to monitor yung mga comments, mga feedbacks, and then when we stumble upon a negative feedback or a complaint, dinediretso na agad natin yun kay client. And then sometimes, mabilis silang mag-respond. Like, they get the customer details, they understand the whole situation. Minsan, they do an investigation kung paano nangyari yon. And then at the end of the day, malalaman na lang natin na hihikita ng update, it's settled na. Okay na si customer, happy na siya. And pag gano'n, parang, ay, ang bilis ng respond, ang galing ng team nila. So, they listen talaga kasi hindi nila hinahayaan na magkaroon ng isang complaint tas hindi nila mapansin. Talagang kahit 1 month pa yon yung complaint na yun. Kasi I remember one client, no, they responded or they left that complaint unread at hindi na nila napansin or nabalikan 1 month after. But they backtrack at kinuha talaga nila yung information ni customer, and then they called her, and then they explained the situation, and then yun, nasatisfy naman daw si customer dun sa nangyari, which is, I think it's a replacement or refund of the product. And yun, binawi niya yung negative feedback niya, deleted, mga ganun.
Sa akin, ang key takeaway ko, there is a proper timing in addressing a social media crisis. Hindi, as a brand, hindi mo kailangang magbato lang ng bato. Makinig ka, kasi you have to listen to the pulse of the people. If kailangan mong hindi sumagot, you don't need to answer. You let your loyal followers, you let your community do some actions around your brand. And very powerful yon, especially if you're using sikat na influencers, celebrities. That's a good thing. Ikaw, anong take mo naman dun sa mga taong mahilig mag-post ng mga konting kibot lang, post agad, ay post ko to, ganyan. Kasi naka-experience kami ng ganyan. It's a milk tea brand, meron kaming ipis pa nga, insekto. Insekto. Pero hindi namin pinost kasi wala sa personality namin na mag-post. What we did is we communicated to the brand, to the business directly, like tinawagan namin, ito yung na-receive namin. And naging maganda naman yung respond nila. Siguro thankful sila, hindi namin pinost sa social media. Binalik nila yung amount ng pera na ginastos namin. Nagbigay pa sila ng cash. Nagbigay pa sila ng maraming milk tea. So para ikaw, as a person who experienced that negative event doon sa brand, related sa brand, you will think twice about it. Mapapalitan yung feeling mo na parang naiinis ka, nagagalit ka kasi something sa health siya, di ba? Di ba feeling mo magpapanik ka, ano kaya to, ganyan. Pero dahil nga they did goodwill, something good about it, napalitan yung feeling na yun. So ikaw, what do you think doon? Do you think it's a we were talking about it, good move ba yung ginawa ng taong nagreklamo dun sa fried chicken towel? Or mas maganda ba sinarili na lang niya? Ikaw, ano yung thought mo nun?
Kasi ako, I have a very similar, well, not very similar, but I had my fair share of bad service, you know. And one of my memorable siguro is one time, for breakfast, I went to Burger King for takeout before going into the office. And then I ordered this meal which has a lot of contents in it, you know, burgers, nuggets, fries. And then upon going to the office, doon ko palang binuksan kasi yung bag. And then I realized na kulang siya ng burger, ng fries, kulang siya ng items. And then I saw sa receipt, merong email doon. So I decided to email that. And nagulat ako, wala pang 1 hour, may respond na agad. And then they said, sir, nasan yung address nyo and anong branch? And then I told them, sa DAU. And then sinabi ko yung address ng office. Then maya-maya, meron ng delivery na dumating. And then parang binigyan nila ako ng another set of meal. So nagulat ako, parang inulit nila yung in-order ko. Like lahat binigay nila again. That may mga kasama pang discount vouchers na exclusive lang for me.
Wow.
So parang doon, ay okay, yung customer service nila, it's very good Pero I'm not the type of person kasi to make reklamo online about a bad service. And based from, you know, all of my experiences in reading bad complaints from all over the customers on our accounts, it's either two things kasi. Yung isa, genuine na disappointed sila sa naging experience nila, kaya sinishare nila. The other, naghahabol lang for a freebie, for something to, you know, change their mind. And marami akong na-experience na ganun dun sa isa nating client na binigyan na siya ng discount, tapos nag-a-ask pa siya, meron po bang money na ibibigay? So parang doon nagtataka ako, bakit nag-a-ask ng money? Eh yung issue na lang naman, nakabili siya ng expired na pagkain. So minsan nagtataka lang din ako pag when people post these things, ano ba talagang habol nila? To raise awareness o para magpapansin? You know?
What's their agenda?
Yeah.
Diba?
So sometimes brands do really have to be careful and assess the situation kung paano sila magre-respond sa ganitong complaint ng customer.
Kaya maganda rin kung ang brand ay may legal team.
Yeah. It knows all of the policies and regulations of the company and alam nila mag-counter kung meron mang complaint si customer.
You won't know if that person has an agenda, pera ba, or gusto lang makatulong,
ma-improve yung
service.
fabricated?
Oo, di natin alam. So,
Yeah.
maganda nga na ini-investigate yan. And may legal team yun. Aside doon sa may community manager na, may creative person na, ipapacheck mo pa sa head.
Any final words for these brands or companies? What should they do first when they face a social media crisis?
First is, do not react agad. Assess the situation first.
Agree.
And plan in advance based on the feedback na marireceive nila doon sa brand, sa naging negative effect. And always monitor what's happening. Kasi again, feedback, very real time, dynamic. You don't know kung bukas medyo okay na ba yung sitwasyon or lalong lumalala. So, kailangan talaga bantayan.
And I think listening is really important. Well, not literally, reading all the words shared by your customers online will be very helpful kung paano kayo magre-respond on your social media crisis. And I think yun yung pinaka advice ko dun sa kanila is learn to listen first and not to react.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it.
Yes.
Ayun, so thank you for being with us today. Thank you for listening to the very first episode of MarkeThinkers podcast. More are coming. So don't forget to tag a friend and subscribe to MarkeThinkers podcast where podcasts are available. If you like this episode, share it with a friend or simply follow our official Facebook page at MarkeThinkers podcast. Keep that curiosity going and see you in the next one. My name is Jimar Mirino.
And I'm Carissa Coles.
And this is MarkeThinkers podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.